A Fayetteville Walmart neighborhood market ready for business as usual this morning after being evacuated Wednesday morning when a suspicious package was found. Search, rescue, and recovery crews picking through demolished homes around Dallas. The latest estimates put the number of damaged homes at more than 1,400. This is one of 10 drop-off locations for those packed shoe boxes here at Ridgeview Baptist Church. The church's pastor, Al Gabauer, who lived in India and Russia during mission trips, knows how important these gifts are to children in need. One person found dead. Arkansas State Police confirming to KNWA News that body is being sent to the state crime lab.
With me claiming you had the right answer.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Continuing coverage this morning as the president is asking Congress for $1.8 billion to help fight the Zika virus. Also in Springdale, police are saying what happened to kids at a Walmart with their parents just one aisle over will now have them watching their children in the store more closely. First glance, you see a quarter. Now, it might not mean much, but for the folks at the Salvation Army during Red Kettle season, 25 cents goes a long way. The Bobby Hopper Tunnel, we've seen that as a problem area. Accidents are prone to happen near the Bobby Hopper Tunnel, so be careful as you're driving past that. Hold on. I thought you were going to toss the break before that. 537 and KNWA is your local election headquarters, and you can hear from the candidates for Benton County Judge and Benton County Sheriff. Having a dozen donuts delivered to your home or workplace could soon become a reality. We get a free glazed donut today, but for me, I had to work for the free donut. So you can see I have the gear on. With millions of voters and electoral colleges, it can sometimes feel like your vote doesn't count. But for primaries in particular, the popular vote is very important. Good morning, Channing. Let me step out of frame right now as we have daybreak, and you can take a look right now and you can see some of the charred remains of a trailer home fire that occurred around 2:10 a.m. That's when Washington County Dispatch received the call from one of the residents or several residents here in the town of Summers. That's about 8.5 miles northwest of Lincoln in extreme Washington County. An elderly woman ran across the street to knock on the door to try to inform the residents of that home to get out. It was too late. Once officials came on scene, they were able to put the fire out and finding the body of that individual in the home. Arkansas State Police confirming to KNWA News that body has been sent to the state crime lab. We'll have much more on this story coming up here on the Fox 24 News at 7. We're live in Summers. I'm Chris Frye for KNWA Today, Northwest Arkansas News. All right, Heidi, thanks a lot. Making headlines this morning, it's the last day of the Mardi Gras season, and hordes of revelers are getting ready for the one last day of celebrations. Fat Tuesday events are expected to be the largest since Hurricane Katrina. And Sarah Daloff is live from the center of it all in New Orleans this morning. Sarah, good morning. All right, Sarah Daloff live from New Orleans this morning in really the center of the Mardi Gras universe. Thanks a lot for that report. All right, happening today, the city of Fayetteville celebrating Fat Tuesday on Dixon Street. The event, hosted by Farrell's Lounge, will have live Cajun music and the coordination of the royalty at 8 this evening. Then at 8:30, a traditional second-line foot parade, complete with costumes and bead throwing, will head to Georgia's Majestic Lounge, where there will be a free Fat Tuesday show with Mountain Sprout. Audience participation is encouraged. At 5:34, KNWA is your local election headquarters, and the Chamber of Commerce is hosting several campaign candidate forums. Tonight, folks will hear from county collector candidates from 5:30 to 6:30 and county judge candidates from 6:45 to 7:45. Now, these are open to the public and will be held at the former Chamber of Commerce building on West Mountain Street, just off the square. Search Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce for the complete list of future forums. Also happening today, the Northwest Arkansas Candidate Forum at the Embassy Suite in Rogers, hosted by Paul Harrell. The event will start tonight at 6:30 and will feature candidates from across Northwest Arkansas. The 4 Republican candidates for Benton County Sheriff Paul Pallaro, Timothy Philbeck, Sean Holloway, and incumbent Sheriff Kelly Craddock sharing the stage at a forum Monday night at Pea Ridge High School. Audience members were able to ask questions. One person asking the candidates what their thoughts were on how the Ferguson, Missouri situation was handled. The folks did not hear from Glenn Latham. He was in attendance and is a registered Republican, but is running for sheriff as an independent. All right, on the national scale, voters in New Hampshire casting ballots for the nation's first 2016 presidential primary. Going into the vote, 44% of voters in New Hampshire were registered undeclared, and many are still undecided. National Republican committeeman Jonathan Barnett has represented Arkansas in the past presidential campaigns, and he says this 2016 election is one of the most competitive he's seen. But the chilly temperatures and snow could affect voter turnout.
Donald Trump is a little...
This morning, a Pea Ridge woman arrested for stabbing a man. According to the Pea Ridge Police Department, officers were called to a home on Patton Street just after 7 Monday night after getting a report that a 24-year-old man had been stabbed. With help from the Bentonville Police Department, investigators tracked down and arrested Jody Pohl for aggravated assault and possession of drug paraphernalia. The victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And a Springdale man also under arrest in a stabbing investigation. Officers picked up Martin Tubiaris Olvera on Saturday. They also arrested a juvenile. Police say the pair were involved in a stabbing Friday night on South Thompson Street. A man was hospitalized for non-life-threatening wounds. Officers are still investigating what happened. In the meantime, Tubiaris Olvera faces several charges, including aggravated robbery, battery, and violent criminal group activity.
I found out God was working here.
You're going to be changed from the inside.
God was ready to do a work here.
Go to any jail or detention center around Northwest Arkansas, and likely you'll find despair, emptiness, and regret. But in that same setting, you'll also find acceptance, restoration, and faith.
There were desperate people who needed hope.
Here at the Washington County Adult Detention Center, men and women are paying the price for making bad decisions on the outside. But that's where these prison ministries come into play. Most of these detainees who come to Chaplain Adams or the other ministers are looking to now make the right choices when given a second chance.
When I walk in jail, I see a chance to offer somebody hope. Now, we can only offer as much hope as they'll accept, but I see a possibility of sharing my faith.
Chaplain Earl Adams was a pastor at a church in Northwest Arkansas for over 20 years.
I had security, to stay there.
But a new calling led Adams down a different path in his life ministry.
It was obvious God led me this way. I began to come to the jail to help any way I could.
In 1998, Cross Church of Springdale started the Washington County Jail Chaplaincy Program. It began with just Chaplain Adams. More volunteers soon followed. 17 years later, more than 100 volunteers have joined the program to provide spiritual leadership for inmates in Northwest Arkansas jails. Doug Sarver is the chairman of its board.
The whole idea behind the jail ministry is that of faith, and it's the faith executed on behalf of the volunteer, on behalf of the chaplains, associate chaplains, where they say, we're just going to give ourselves away without any kind of expectation coming back to us.
I think it says a lot about him.
Brian Hansen is back behind bars for violating his parole. He says despite the many mistakes in his life, he appreciates what people like Chaplain Adams do to help him make a life change.
I know that inmates in general are probably intimidating to the normal people. There might be some people that wouldn't ever think about coming in here, but it's amazing what they do. Without them, there'd be a lot more suffering and pain in the county jail.
We minister to everybody. All kinds of crimes, race, doesn't matter. We don't see color. We see somebody that needs help, and if we can help, we will.
Faith, it's the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. It's also what continues to fuel Chaplain Adams in his prison ministry, hoping his message will reach detainees like Brian Hansen.
It's taken me coming to jail to get close to God like I should be, and I guess I was just hard-headed and that's what I needed, but I got a family to take care of and they're my priority now.
I believe in miracles, and changed lives, and we gave them hope, and taught them you can do this.